In a tightly controlled invite-only event hidden from public view and attended by top automotive executives, Christian von Koenigsegg, founder and CEO of the high-performance automaker Koenigsegg, revealed a next-generation engine technology. He introduced a revolutionary engine design with immense power and torque in a very accessible manner. This innovation is not just a step forward but the start of a new automotive era within the camless revolution. Christian von Koenigsegg made a striking entrance at the event held on an old airbase runway in Angelholm. Under studio lights, he presented a short, wide-bodied carbon fiber test mule. With the push of a button, silence gave way to a clean, sharp hiss. This new sound came from dozens of tiny air-driven pistons firing with high speed and precision. This was Koenigsegg's lightened engine running on a radical system called free valve. There is no camshaft or timing belt, only ultra-fast pneumatic actuators controlled by artificial intelligence that adjust every valve hundreds of times per second. This results in more power from each drop of fuel and significantly less waste. This was not a sudden invention. Koenigsegg and his engineers have been refining free valve for nearly a decade. In 2016 they demonstrated its potential by fitting it into a 1.6-liter Chinese hatchback, achieving wild results: 47% more power, 45% more torque, and 15% less fuel consumption simply by removing the camshaft. That success proved free valve was not a gimmick and could work beyond commuter cars. The first real-world result is a motor nicknamed the Tiny Friendly Giant. It is a 2.0-liter three-cylinder twin-turbo engine that delivers 600 horsepower and weighs just 154 pounds. Installed in the four-seat Jesco Absolute prototype, this Mega GT accelerates from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 2 seconds and can reach 248 miles per hour. The key is constant valve control. At cruising speeds, the engine sips fuel gently, but the instant the turbos engage, the valves snap open fully for maximum power, allowing the engine to be either calm or aggressive based on driver input. Koenigsegg did not stop there. Pairing the Tiny Friendly Giant with a new in-house electric motor called Dark Matter creates a hybrid system of exceptional performance. The motor alone weighs 86 pounds but produces 800 horsepower and 922 pound-feet of torque. Combined, the hybrid system delivers 1,700 horsepower and a jaw-dropping 1,800 pound-feet of torque at the wheels. This power is managed through Koenigsegg's custom multi-clutch gearbox, which allows instant gear changes, a feature called light speed. Brute force was never the only goal. Koenigsegg's team focused intensely on efficiency. Free valve's dyno tests show it approaching 50% thermal efficiency, nearly double that of traditional muscle cars, because the engine does not waste heat. Each cylinder receives exactly the air it needs. When idling, the engine can close all valves, using almost no fuel until the accelerator is pressed again. Furthermore, the engine is fuel flexible, capable of running on regular gasoline, pure methanol, Brazilian ethanol, or synthetic e-fuels made from captured carbon and clean electricity. Using Sweden's E85 biodiesel or e-methanol results in nearly net zero carbon emissions without requiring additional lithium mining or straining the power grid. In early June 2025, Koenigsegg invited test drivers and journalists to their headquarters in Angelholm to see the engine run. They witnessed a stripped-down Jesco Absolute prototype, covered in sensors but without any camouflage rocket down the runway on 95% ethanol, hitting 60 miles per hour in just 1.9 seconds, again and again, and braking well before the track's end. Test logs recorded every detail: valve events, fuel adjustments, and exhaust temperatures. The onboard AI made real-time tweaks, conserving fuel while protecting the turbos from overheating. Those present described a truly surreal experience. The engine sounded familiar, yet different, lacking the classic cam lobe rhythm and instead producing a smooth hum along with those screaming turbos. Drivers reported instant throttle response, with no delay, no turbo lag, and no sluggish valves, just immediate power. One engineer even joked that it felt like a volume knob for torque. The magic lies not just in the engine's mechanics, but in its intelligence. Each actuator is connected to high-speed sensors in the cylinders, and the main computer is trained on millions of combustion cycles. The engine adapts its strategy on the fly, operating like an Atkinson cycle, a Miller cycle, or even performing quick two-stroke maneuvers depending on load, RPM, and driver aggression. On the highway, it can deactivate two cylinders to save fuel. In track mode, it uses full lift profiles, intaking maximum air and firing every 90 degrees of crank rotation for non-stop power. The engine is also compact. By eliminating cams, gears, belts, and timing covers, Koenigsegg reduced the engine's length by 8 inches and its weight by over 70 pounds compared to a conventional twin-turbo V6 of similar power. This smaller size allows designers to move the passenger cabin forward, enhance crash protection, or create luggage space in a 4-seater that can outpace most motorcycles. What does this mean for the future? While many claim electric vehicles are inevitable, Koenigsegg offers a different perspective. Standing next to the humming prototype, he suggests, why not have both? With the lightened engine, he demonstrates that combustion can evolve, becoming cleaner, smarter, and still delivering the emotional thrill drivers love without harming the planet. It may not be a perfect solution, but it challenges the current narrative. How does this camless engine compare to the realities facing battery electric vehicles? For the past decade, EVs have been promoted as the clean future. However, a closer look at the EV landscape in 2025 reveals ongoing challenges. Globally, electric car sales are growing with over 4 million all-electric cars sold in the first quarter of 2025, a 35% increase from the previous year. If this pace continues, annual sales could exceed 20 million, meaning roughly 1 in 4 new cars sold globally is electric, with the majority of growth coming from China. The United States saw a 10% growth, while Europe's market share remained flat at around 20%. A closer examination reveals a more complex picture. European car sales declined by 4.4% in June, and while EV sales surpassed 1 million units in the first half of the year, much of this growth came from cheaper Chinese brands like BYD, which gained market share at the expense of Tesla and Stellantis. Employment is another critical factor. A study by the International Council on Clean Transportation found that battery cell factories require about 144 workers per gigawatt hour, but these jobs are concentrated in a few large facilities. In contrast, a camless retrofit strategy, like Koenigsegg's, could distribute work across existing engine plants, assembly lines, and dealerships, maintaining employment in more regions. This model is attracting attention from unions in the U.S. Midwest and lawmakers in Germany, who are concerned that a reliance on massive battery factories could lead to job losses in their areas. Looking ahead, data suggests a future of coexistence rather than a single technology dominating. Bloomberg NEF forecasts global sales of electric passenger cars to reach 39 million per year by 2030, with battery vehicles eventually leading the market. However, the International Energy Agency's net zero roadmap indicates the fastest emissions reductions occur when small, frequently used city cars are electric, while heavier-duty vehicles in rural areas use ultra-efficient engines running on low-carbon fuels. This mixed approach allows each technology to excel where it is most effective instead of forcing a single solution everywhere. The pieces are now falling into place. Governments are crafting regulations that allow various clean technologies to compete. Automakers are investing in synthetic fuel production as a contingency should batteries face limitations. Drivers continue to be drawn to the emotional appeal of combustion engines, and the price difference between powertrain options is narrowing. Christian von Koenigsegg has consistently stated there is no need to choose just one path. Innovation is not a zero-sum game. Whether you prefer a quiet electric motor or a powerful camless engine, the real victory is having a choice. The best drivetrain for one person may not be the best for another. For the first time in a long time, that choice is back in the hands of the consumer.